You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got a big Shadur Sanders update here. Number one, we got a Steelers Hall of Famer that doesn't sound like he's all that high on Shadur. Now, he tried to word this in such a way that you wouldn't exactly know who he's talking about, but you know exactly who he's talking about. And I'm talking about Ben Roethlisberger. It's pretty clear. He took a shot at Shedeur Sanders while praising Will Howard. By the way, I like Will Howard. I do. Good size, height. He's got some tools. And I think in Pittsburgh land, there's a thought process. He might be the future there. But it won't be till after Rodgers is done. That's right, Aaron Rodgers. So, Shadur Sanders. We've got more here with Shadur Sanders. Let's start with Kevin Stefanski. Protecting Shadur Sanders? Question mark. I don't love this. If I'm a Browns fan, you gotta wonder. And I'm already seeing some Sanders fans wanting Stefanski run out of town. You sure you want to run this coach out of town? I mean, really? They took you to the playoffs with Joe Flacco? Took you to the playoffs? I know he was setting out for that COVID game in the playoffs, but they destroyed the Steelers, and I promise you, he was involved in that game plan. I mean, Kevin Stefanski's been a pretty good coach. Now, he's had absolute crap to work with since they decided to move off of Baker, but you can thank Jimmy Haslam for that. So here we go. Kevin Stefanski and the Browns coaching staff are slow-rolling Colorado Buffalo football's Shadur Sanders development this offseason for a deliberate reason. They don't want the, quote, grown QB to be exposed during the difficult early portion of the team's schedule. They don't want him exposed? Yikes. The excitement surrounding Browns rookie quarterback Shadur Sanders is palpable, but there's a major reason the organization appears in no rush to throw him into the starting lineup. A murderous early season schedule that would challenge even the most seasoned NFL veterans. The Orange and Brown Talk podcast crew, comprised of Cleveland.com's Mary Kay Cabot and some others. I'm not naming everybody else there. Mary Kay's the only one I care about. Many are aware of Cleveland's deliberate slow roll. ESPN's Harry Douglas tabs the Browns' 7th game of the season against the Dolphins at home as the most likeliest NFL debut of the grown quarterback. You know what's amazing about this? We just forgetting that there's another whole quarterback that was drafted ahead of him. That's hilarious. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Shadur has done a lot of good stuff this offseason, but the idea that everybody's going to automatically dismiss the quarterback that was drafted 2 rounds above, I cannot imagine Gabriel not getting a shot first. Maybe he won't. Quote, Game 7, that's when the Cleveland Browns play the Miami Dolphins. And if Shadur Sanders goes into training camp and he lights it out, he's playing very well in the preseason, there's going to be conversations that might be earlier than that, because what you don't want to do if you're Kevin Stefanski is have a guy show that he is the guy, but you not play him. Well, yeah, I mean, that will cause a fracture in the locker room real fast, because the players know. They'll know who the best quarterback on this team is. The players will. And then you'll start having an issue in the locker room. Stefanski has been giving Sanders fewer plays to run than Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco, and has not deployed Shadur against first-team defenders. Oh, hell. So all of the videos and everything that's come out with Shadur, making all these great throws and stuff, he hasn't been throwing against any first-team defenders. Wow, that's not great. That's not great. Multiple insiders. Let's go over here. Right here, you see that. Sanders in a tough spot. His depth chart, him being a fifth-round pick puts him in a bit of a spot. Multiple insiders reported that Browns coach Kevin Stefanski is impressed with third-round pick Dillon Gabriel early on, adding the Oregon rookie is picking up the offense very quickly despite a lot being thrown at him. Browns coaches did not ask Sanders to integrate the same volume of playbook during minicamp as his counterparts. So he hasn't even learned. They didn't even give him the same amount of the playbook as they did Dillon Gabriel. Wow. ESPN Cleveland aggregated the four quarterbacks' combined OTA and minicamp stats that Sanders by far had the highest completion percentage, coming in at 77.3%, well above Gabriel, Flacco, and Kenny Pickett. Yeah, but those other guys we just found out is taking reps against a higher level of competition. Sanders is not taking reps right here. Let's look. 48 of 83, 8 touchdowns. What? 38 of 63, 7. 18 of 35, Flacco. 2 touchdowns. Wow. Tom Pelissero adds that the Browns will almost certainly not be carrying 4 quarterbacks through final roster cuts. So one of Sanders and Gabriel will likely be forced to start on the practice squad, or they would need to cut Flacco or Pickett. Good Lord, surely it would be Pickett. Quote, it will be almost like a second draft for Shedeur, Pelissero adds, if Sanders is put on the practice squad and able to be scooped up by other teams. That will be very interesting because he gets put on the practice squad. Is there going to all of a sudden be a market for Shadur Sanders? That's interesting. You would want to normally draw lines to teams that's got connective tissue with Stefanski. The one right off the bat that I can think of is the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell. But they got J.J. McCarthy there. They might snatch him up. So Ben Roethlisberger seems to have taken a stray shot at Shadur Sanders when discussing the draft process and ego. Roethlisberger argued that with some players already used to high-dollar contracts, talking about NIL money, before they reach pros, the passion for the game has been lost. He brought up Steelers' sixth-round pick, Will Howard, saying he would rather take a chance on a player like that. Although he didn't mention Sanders directly by name, it could certainly be inferred by the comparison he made. Quote, I think what NIL is doing is taking the love for the game away, Roethlisberger said. When guys come into the league now, as I'm looking at this player A to player B, I might go with player B that maybe just isn't as good but has the heart and the desire and the love for the game over player A, who might be a little better, but they don't have the love for the game. For instance, and this is where it gets really specific, the Steelers took Will Howard this year at quarterback, Ohio State national champion. He gets drafted in the 6th round. Tears are pouring down his face. His dream of playing in the NFL. At least he has a chance. It doesn't mean he's going to make it 6th round, but he's excited about it. You watch other guys, they get drafted and are like, let's throw a party. Let's have cameras. Uh-oh. I'm not trying to bash any one person, but I am. But you see the difference sometimes in the love of the game. Well, I suspect that the cameras being around and the nonce partying, and remember there was the draft, whatever they had set up, it wasn't just like, a group of people kind of, like you see these families in one living room and the camera cuts on there. No, they got like a full blown, people are entering like it's at the club. And I promise you, that turned NFL teams away. That turned NFL teams away. There's no doubt about it. How they look at guys, especially at quarterback, forget about it. It turned NFL teams away. So I think that played a role as you got into the draft and the cameras were following around and the stuff that was showing up on social media. Yeah, draft rooms did not like that. I don't think Cleveland's draft room liked it. I got to be honest. If I didn't think Jimmy Haslam was involved directly, I would think Shadur Sanders may be heading towards getting cut. But I think Jimmy Haslam's going to save him. I've said the whole time, you've heard me say it, I think he was Jimmy Haslam's pick as the Browns owner, and not Stefanski, not Andrew Berry. And that I think that's the only reason he's going to stay on this team, because they're not going to cut him. I just don't see it. Unless he royally shits the bed in an embarrassing manner where you're like, there's just no way you can use a roster spot on him. And even then, I think the owner is going to be like, no, he's staying. Because the owner's seeing dollar signs, marketability, and that kind of thing. Which I get it. It's a business, but do you want to win football games or not? It sounds like Kevin Stefanski, we've heard two things. He likes Pickett, and he loves Dillon Gabriel. Nowhere in there is Shadur Sanders, and they're not cutting Joe Flacco. If they cut Flacco after passing on re-signing him, that fan base is going to go bananas. I would be livid. Seriously. Flacco might lead you to the playoffs. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Before we jump in, make sure you go to our merch store. Our Make Basketball Great Again shirt and our newest shirt that just came out. Both shirts are brand new. The American Flag Skull Fever Enforcer shirt. And use promo code CC22 for 20% off.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.